What's up guys, it's Brian with MTIMix.com. It's been a very long time since I posted a video. Sorry about that. I actually picked up a new job, so I've been pretty busy adjusting with that, but I think it's time that I get back to the videos and start populating my channel again. So today with the video, I'm gonna be explaining what I would do if I could start everything all over, just scratch the board, take the knowledge that I have now as far as how to successfully create a mixing career and kind of apply it from day one. So there's definitely a handful of things that I would redo. So I'm gonna get into that, and I'm gonna show you the things that I would do over if I could restart everything. So I would have to say that the first thing that I would have changed was invest too much money too early. You could get really great sounding mixes just straight out of the box, even with stock plugins. I know a lot of people that kind of jump into this, including myself. We're a fan of sort of the pictures and kind of showcasing what you have, and hardware gear is a big way to do that. It does look really cool, but it is very unnecessary. So I would suggest being very limited on what you're purchasing and making sure that you master the things that you have first, especially the stock plugins. A lot of people overlook the stock plugins just because they're quote unquote stock, but they are actually very powerful pieces of gear, and I still use them all the time. Pro Tools has great stock plugins, Logic has great stock plugins. Essentially every DAW will come with plugins that can definitely get the job done. Professional mix engineers are using them all the time. So don't overlook those. Yes, there are plugins out there that I would definitely recommend, and some are sort of standard, such as Auto-Tune. If you're into the rap kind of realm of mixing, a lot of clients are going to request the Auto-Tune kind of feel to their voice. So there are plugins that you probably aren't going to be able to work around, but those are logical investments. Don't just go out buying a whole bunch of hardware gear just to make your studio look official. It's just going to put you in debt, it's going to run your bills down, and it's going to just be unnecessary expenses that you don't have to incur. So the third thing that I probably would have done if I could just restart everything, and I know it's going to also contradict my first point, but just hear me out, is getting proper sound treatment for your room. I know if you look these things up, they're very, very, very unnecessarily expensive, but you can make your own, and that's what I did, and it works like a charm. It works really good. So I use Corning 703. It's a fiberglass material, and I just wrapped it in fabric. Each panel probably cost me, I think it was like around $23. They have a wood frame. You can see them in the background there. They have a wood frame, and they're really, really, really cheap to make, especially if you bought the products. For example, say you got it from Arlex, or there's a whole bunch of them. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but say you bought them, you could be easily spending $800 for maybe like 6 panels, if that. So it's definitely worth looking into creating your own. There's a ton of videos on YouTube explaining how to do it. It's becoming more and more popular just to kind of bypass that middleman and make them yourself. And that way you could even wrap them with whatever fabric you want. You could really match the style of your studio that way, which is what I did. I went through a couple different fabrics already. I ripped the old fabric off and put new fabric on. So you could constantly adapt with it, and just because you're building it will help you understand it a little more as well, as far as what's going to be absorbing mid frequencies, high frequencies, low frequencies, and so forth. And what I would recommend doing is doing a before and after test. Set your microphone up in your room and just play any song off of iTunes or something, and just record what is playing, and then record the same song with a mic in the same position after you put your treatment up. You'll see the huge difference. You'll get way more of a balanced sound. And the general rule is that you shouldn't invest any more money into your hardware gear than you do in your sound treatment. So be sure that you're really getting the best quality sound out of the room as you can. I know a lot of people are in sort of tighter situations where they can't really make the best out of the room because they're in some sort of weird shaped room or things like that. But you could always get the best out of your room by not really even spending that much money. So definitely look into sound treating your room. This next one, believe it or not, is free to an extent actually. So it's be more consistent with your marketing. this is something that I wish I could have went back at. When I first started getting into the realms of trying to build a mixing career, I was marketing like crazy, and it paid off. So as a lot of you guys know, I worked with a lot of people from Roseville Music Group, which is producer Illmind's label, and that was all generally built up from my marketing and marketing within that group. So I was lucky enough to land an internship in New York City at a studio called Sound Association. Illmind worked there all the time, so I kind of networked with him, and I got on his good side for when he started up Roseville Music Group. I was sort of the guy to go to for mixing and mastering. So everybody that came through there were pointed to me as far as anything that had to be mixed and mastered. Through that, I was able to meet a lot of talented people. I went to a bunch of networking events in the city, and really I just kept meeting people, and that's something that I slowed down on. So if I could go back and scratch it all, I would make sure that even once I got to sort of a comfortable point in my mixing career, I wish that I kept networking more, and I'm trying to make a conscious effort of doing that more. And this doesn't just limit yourself to in-person marketing, although I think that ultimately is the best kind of marketing, kind of face-to-face marketing. But don't limit yourself to that. Also, keep pushing yourself on social media. Don't kind of slow down to that. It's good to push yourself more and more into people's faces. So definitely push yourself towards marketing and make it a conscious effort to keep driving the marketing and really build an audience that will watch every step that you're doing and support you. Because in the end, they are going to be the ones that make you money. Now, last but not least, going to be a little cliche, but don't lose focus. This is something that hit me very hard about a year ago, even to this day. As you guys know, I haven't put out a video in a long time, so I definitely lost a lot of focus as far as my marketing, and as far as just focusing on music in general. Since I got a couple jobs in the past, they kind of took up a lot of my time, and it kind of strayed me away from music. And at that point, it kind of brought down my income as far as my music income goes, and it really just made me lose a lot of interest in mixing and starting my own career and things along those lines. So it's really important to focus on that and find a balance on, one, your work life if you have a job, two, your friends, family, anything along those lines. They're very important. You got to keep them in mind. And three, keeping your music going. It is a hard thing to balance those three things, especially if your job is a full-time job. I know a lot of people that are starting music careers would suggest 100% just dive into the music, and I won't go against that. I think it is a very good thing to do and that you should do. But if you have a great job opportunity lined up in something that you still do love, which is my case, don't run away from that as well. It's a very thin line that's sometimes hard to not cross. So you definitely have to go towards those opportunities when they come towards you. If you keep your mind set on the music and what you're trying to do, your end goal, you shouldn't have a problem. Just keep what your end goal is in your mind. You want to start your own business. You want to be a mixing and mastering professional. You want to work with all the top guys in the industry. Just keep your mind on that, because if you keep working at it and you listen to the previous 4 steps, you will reach that goal. So that's really it for my tips of things that I would redo if I could start again. I know there's a lot of crazy good mixing and mastering engineers and producers out there that are subscribed to me. I love when you guys comment on my videos and kind of point out my faults. It's actually really cool because I always try to keep those into consideration. I learn from them. Everybody's still learning. You could always learn more. But I would love to hear everybody else's thoughts as far as what they would redo. Everybody has them. I would love to hear what you guys think. Leave it in the comments what you would redo. Just name even one thing. It'd be cool to everybody just to kind of add on and just build a cool guideline that people could go to and kind of just create a good career path for themselves. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, as well as your suggestions of what you redo. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next video.